Hey, everybody. Well, I guess first off, Happy New Year, everybody. Look forward to an exciting year this year. With the Bible study growing and us drawing closer to the Lord. So, the topic for tonight, the dash, which we'll get into. And I'll just read what Greg put at the beginning. Says our lesson this week is titled The Dash, which is our time spent here on this earth, regardless of age, race, or economic status. We all have a great opportunity to make a huge impact for the kingdom of God. So, it's definitely a good way to start off the year, especially to me, because part of that dash is what we do this year. So, we'll be coming out of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verses 1 through 12. So, somebody would like to read that word, that would be sweet.
I got it.
Got it? All right.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 1 to 12 says, "A good reputation is more valuable than costly perfume, and the day you die is better than the day you were born. Better to spend time at funerals than at parties. After all, everyone dies. So the living should take this to heart. Sorrow is better than laughter, for sadness has a refining influence on us. A wise person thinks a lot about it, while a fool only about having a good time. Better to be criticized by a wise person than to be praised by a fool. A fool's laughter is quickly gone, like thorns crackling in a fire. This also is meaningless. Extortion turns wise people into fools, and bribes corrupt the heart. Finishing is better than starting. Patience is better than pride. Control your temper, for anger labels you a fool. Don't long for the good old days. This is not wise. Wisdom is even better when you have money. But both are a benefit as you go through life. Wisdom and money can get you almost anything, but only wisdom can save your life."
Amen. So we'll begin with the first question for the evening. First one says, when people see your dash, what do you want them to remember? If you could write it out, if you could write out your legacy, what would it say? So this is more of a personal question. So the biggest thing being, what would you want people to say about you and your dash?
Just like about the impact on other people, not anything that directly pertains to myself, like my status or anything like that. But it just be like how I impact the people and how people are affected by what it is that I say that I do just to run.
Anybody else?
I guess just for them to remember me not just as a person, but the things that, kind of like what Jalen said, things that I did and made an impact towards the rest of the world and not just to myself.
Amen.
I want people to look back and think of how much of a godly person I was. Woman after God's own heart, a good wife, good mother. I'm not for the things that I might have had, or, that's how I was.
Amen. Anybody else?
I guess what I want to remember is the fact that I used, my gifts and my talents to be either encouragement or spark of hope or part of the word of wisdom, from the Lord to them. You're not encounter because you never know how big or small, just the little things that we do impact people's smile, a hug, I don't know, just a kind word that might roll off the tongue, that would help them remember or to be hopeful in something about the Lord. So,
I put down for myself, I said I would want to be known as a man who loved the Lord, was a servant, and was motivated by what God could do through us, for us, and with us. I would also like to be known as an encourager in a way that brings about the love of the Lord in people's lives. I thought I actually write my obituary. I was like, it's a little morbid, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I think the biggest compliment that I've ever heard anybody ever say about my own parents is what you see in public is what you see at the house. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's no public portray to be somebody that, I love the Lord and go home and, cussing everybody out or anything like that. I would want whatever people perceive to me in public life to be the same in private and the same in private and public. Not to be a person that puts on, I wouldn't want to be known as an actor, of life. I want to be known that, man, that guy's the same way everywhere. So which to me will go back to the love of the Lord. I want people to know how much I love God and how much He loves them. So.
I guess to add on there, a lot of it, that you've been saying, like, just figure out and all that. I guess one of the things is just, I guess it's that most of it's like just, being an encourager, trying to stand on regardless of the people. I think sometimes you share stuff with people, man, it's not. I try to share stuff with people, even if I don't, they're not even want to agree with it, but just like somebody who stands on, what they believe in. I mean, of course, like people get, talking about legacy, man, like being that, good husband, good father, but beyond that, I think just really making an impact on people. Sometimes when people say your name, it's like, what's the first thing that comes to mind? It's like, is it something positive? Is it negative? Sometimes people can make bad decisions in life, and it's sad because a lot of times people, that's the only thing they remember somebody, regardless of how much they change after that. You know what I'm saying? Yes. I'm really thankful, really grateful to God that because, there were some terrible decisions that I made. If I would remember those, it'd be bad. So, I guess just, like I said, just trying to be that encourager, whatever I do, man, doing it with the right motives, right intentions.
Do you have anything on that coach?
Read this question.
When people see your dash, what do you want them to remember you by?
Hopefully, when it's all said and done, people will be able to look at my life and say that, I walk with a purpose, I walk with a direction. And hopefully, I don't have to necessarily say it through words, but people can look at my life and identify me and who I'm identified with.
Right.
And that's what we all hope for. A lot of times we can tell people what, we think they should hear, or a lot of times I think in the world of days, like on the surface, like my mom and I talk about this on Christmas, on the surface, a lot of times we try to fix ourselves and we want to appear to be
like it's all together. And sometimes it's just nothing wrong with just looking somebody in the eye and say, you know what, I struggle with this. I'm not very good at this. I'm working on this, because it allows us to continue to grow. I think a lot of times the fight is with ourselves, and we try. It's almost like putting makeup on. And then once you take it off, it's kind of who you are. So I think as the older I get, I think that's kind of the biggest thing is being transparent with people and just trying, because I know a lot of times even kids at school, they'll cross your path or something, will reveal something to you, and it's almost like, and then they kind of look at you like, and then when you begin to share with them that I understand where you're coming from, been there, these are some things that happen to me, you start to see this relief, like, man, I'm not the only one. Good. So I think that for me, I think that's what it is. I just hope that, I never want to be a person to make it seem like I have all together, that it's, it's a finished product, because it's not. Hopefully, I live life that's, if I can say transparent, I'm able to share and say, hey, I've been there. This is how I overcame it. This is how I'm continuing to deal with it.
Yes. Tonight's lesson was almost on transparency. Just felt more strongly about this lesson, but when I was thinking about transparency, man, like I think about, like, so you said, I think it's so much. I think it's power in it. One way it would be transparent, but at the same time, it's like I think when people look at you, if you, like, for example, like you've been in church 15, 20, 30 years, and I think sometimes we look at it like people have this expectation like where we should be or what we should be or whatever, and if you're not really, I guess, solid all the time, then you can feed into that, like you said, just being like making it appear that things were okay, but you miss on an opportunity to really be able to reach people that may be struggling to balance something that you maybe was in the past, maybe it's in the present, and you can really share with them. So just, I like that transparency. It is really important. It's like, but it's a fear too that a lot of people have to be transparent. Because like, well, who am I going to share with? How much am I going to share with them? It's just it's a real fear for a lot of people. But at the end of it, it's just ultimately like it's just being like trusting God that in that transparency, that whatever the end result is going to be good.
So I think because of transparency, what that does is that brings about vulnerability. We don't like to be vulnerable, because then, and I think that's the way the enemy uses it to a degree against us, is we're so consumed by really what people perceive us to be on the outside rather than what impact we made. When people think about me, I don't want them to go, ugh. You know what I'm saying? I want to be like, man, that dude was a nut, or you know what I'm saying? And that was always, encouraging, uplifting, because you got plenty of people out there. I think about Facebook. When you were talking about the makeup thing, I think about Facebook and how a lot of people, like if you looked at their Facebook posts, man, you think that their life was like on point. Everything's solid, everything's good. Life is grandiose, and then, come to find out, it's truly not like that. There's emptiness. Because a picture, the picture doesn't mean anything. People say all the time, a picture's worth 1,000 words, but at the same time, it's not. Because you never get to see, like texting. You know what I'm saying? If you can't hear how they're talking, then the perception of it can be misled. So that dash, at the end of the day, genuine. That's one of the first things that came. I want people to say, man, that dude was genuine. He didn't, like you were talking about. If he had a problem, he shared it. He wasn't afraid or thinking, well, let me talk about it later or whatever. Because, I think for me personally, the more transparent I become and the more open I become about whatever I'm going through, the less the enemy can use that against me. He can't, oh yeah, little boy. And I just be like, yeah, it's the truth. I mean, I'm getting through this because of God, not because of anything I'm doing. So, anybody else? Your dash. Okay, so number 2 says, read Proverbs 4 and 23. So if somebody can find that one. And then it says in Matthew 7:13 through 14. It says, we all know what we say, think, and do will have an impact on our lives. What steps can you take to guard your actions, thoughts, and heart? And how do you plan on staying on the narrow path? So Proverbs 4:23. Go ahead, bro.
Proverbs 23 says, guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life.
Amen. And if I could, you couldn't read all the way down to 27, because I think there's a lot in 23 through 27 that pertains to this question.
Avoid all perverse talk. Stay away from corrupt speech. Look straight ahead and fix your eyes on what lies before you. Got a straight path for your feet. Stay on the safe path. Don't get sidetracked, and keep your feet from following you.
Somebody got Matthew 7:13 through 14. Go ahead.
Enter by the narrow gate. For the gate is wide and the way is easy that leads to destruction. And those who enter by it are many. The gate is narrow and the way is hard that leads to life. Those who find it.
So it says, we all know what we say and do will have an impact on our lives. What steps can you take to guard your actions and thoughts and heart? And then the second question being, how I am on staying on the narrow path. Anybody wants to?
I guess it's the first part. You said Proverbs have a lot of different stuff. Things you say, where your focus is at. I think those are kind of the biggest things. Where you spend, where your mind's at most of the time, not where your physical preparation is mind at. Most hours of the day is there. Mentally scores or things like that. And it can be while you're doing anything. I think that's the good measure. But I can be at work and I can be doing whatever task I'm doing. But if my mind is, how can I serve God while I'm at school? How can I serve God while I'm at school? I think that kind of is how you can keep that. And the second question was, how do you stay on the narrow path?
Mm-hmm.
And kind of like, I mean, to me, like, I don't know, overthinking it, but it's just like, it's the narrow path for reasons that everybody else is doing. So, like, there's just like a trend or something that everybody seems to be doing. Like, maybe I just take time out to either, one, examine it and see if it's something that's of God or waste my time, and then find out, okay, well, what can I do to find something better?
Amen.
Kind of go hand in hand. Talk about I'm going fun, and then you're doing that, then you want to be following the rule at the moment. So it's and then consciously aware of the right and wrong and position and all that.
Anybody else?
I think a lot of this is just like the James says excellence. That's great. It's like I think sometimes the battle is lost before it even begins. I think sometimes we read things, we hear things, we see it, but then comes the application. Like believing that it's like it's really real. Like this, like when you head down from like 23 down to 27, you know, that's like a perfect recipe he's giving us for how to stay on that path. But I think sometimes we struggle with like really believing that there's opposition to this. And if you don't believe that there's opposition to this, then you're, you know what I'm saying, then you're like it's almost being delusional. You know what I'm saying? I think it's almost like we use examples sometimes like about music. People and we all said it like I'm just listening to the beats. It's impossible. It's impossible. What you consume, whether it's good for you or bad for you, it's gonna be out of that. You know what I'm saying? It's just like if you it's like with food. I mean, if you knocking down Taco Bell 3 times a day, it's gonna show. If you're knocking down like, you know what I'm saying, a bunch of veggies and fish and stuff, it's gonna show too. You know what I'm saying? So same thing with your, you know, the Bible talks about like renewing your mind. And it's constantly being, like you said, your mind is constantly being on something. You know, and I just today's society more than any other because we've never had access like this to the world, you know, and this thing is probably not a problem. This is like one of the enemies to everybody, honestly. It can be a very good tool, but that's 90% of the time that's not what it's used for. You know, this thing creates so much chaos, so much, and so it's almost like the society we live in now. If you remove this from society today, you would have mass chaos. You would have people like just completely losing it. You know what I'm saying? And it's the case, and that lets me know that the focus is too much dependent upon technology. And I'm just like focused on the wrong things most of the time, you know. So.
Good about the path being narrow, and about what you're saying with the phone, I can kind of align it to. So my dad says every hour for the county, so every day, him and like 4 of the guys, ages 25, they travel the same 100-mile radius. It's the first thing they do is take the same path to check the roadways. This is what they do. They start in the morning. And these kids, he just talks about how these kids, without the GPS, they can do it. He said, I don't understand it. We're going down the same, we take the same route. We start in the same place. And how is it going to be back here? With GPS, like I lost service and I couldn't. He's like, I don't understand it. So I think about it sometimes. I relate it back to when you were saying like the path is narrow, but the it didn't change. Like what's in here, it hasn't changed. Mm-hmm. It's not you get up. It's not like an author takes books and writes it, or they come out with a second version of a book. You can take a man-made book and you can come out with many different versions, or another author can take it, or 2 authors can take it and rewrite and change some text. It's never changed. So yes, and it's not for everybody. But how is it that we start every day and here we go? Yet you can't get through it, like you said. I take this away from you, and then you just lost. Like you can't. He goes, and it just. He goes, I don't understand. I don't understand that stuff. But he's like, I struggle every morning for the first hour and a half of work. Every day. You gotta have GPS.
I think it's a crutch, and you have to learn to walk without the aids. It's almost like basic training. Most people don't start walking with crutches, or they have reasonable quality of their help. But once you're on it, you kind of lean to it sometimes too much. And I think that's kind of that they rely on that device instead of putting it down and learning the basics. And that's kind of the way I see it. Learning the Bible. You can if you stay on it, stay in it, then you don't need that aid, you don't need that crutch.
So to go with what she's saying is when I look at technology, I look at social media. If you're if you invest amount of your time in the when you depend on. So if that's the vast majority of what you're consuming, then that's what you're dependent upon. You're dependent upon the society, the world, basically, like to. It's directing you. It's like who you like. It's driving your identity. I guess is what I'm trying to say, basically, versus like what you're saying. Like we're to be. The only thing we're really be dependent upon is Christ. You know what I'm saying? That's where our identity is. But when you, like I said, when it swings to the other side, it's just like, if that's the majority of where your time is spent and your mind at, then the results will show. You know what I'm saying? There's no way around it. And the saddest part to me, and it's heartbreaking, is that you can tell somebody that, and you can see it happening, like in just masses, and it's like nobody don't want to hear, nobody don't want to see that message. And I shared this like a long time ago, and I still believe it. If I see the majority of people doing something, I automatically I take a step back. I just take a step back when I see the masses of people just like, oh man, this is like, I'm like, nah, just hold on for a minute. Let me take a closer look at this. In the environment I'm in, if it's like the masses of people jumping on something, I just step back and examine it and see what's going on.
I just have two things. I guess the first one is like in verse 25, where it says, which I just read ahead, it says, fix your gaze.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of just tagged on, I think, Tia said, a little bit what said, all these things like something that's set, it's not changing. And that's how, kind of like you talking about like the scripture, like the word's not changing. Like, nothing in this book has changed when it was written. And so like in this verse, it's referencing our focus. It shows we fixed upon him. So it's not something that should be wavered. It can, and obviously like we have things we have to do day to day, but I think like what he's trying to kind of put the message trying to get across is like that's where you're at the end of the day, like that's where your focus is locked on. That's where it's at. And then I guess I just kind of had a question. You kind of talking about like just kind of we've been talking about how you kind of got into talking about like the phones and stuff like that and technology, but I guess the question kind of first came when we were looking into this and talking about the straight path. So as a believer, what are you to do when one you see one of your fellow believers kind of wandering off that, and how do you respond if they don't receive it as I guess a plan? Yeah, like if you tell somebody like, "Hey, I really want you to kind of refocus," they kind of, I don't know, either like blow you off.
Well, that's I think the first one, I would say Galatians 6:1. And then like I said, another believer.
Mm-hmm.
Another believer. The brethren, if a man is overtaken in any trespass, you who are spiritual restore such a one spirit of gentleness, considering yourself, lest you also be tempted. Bear one another burden and so fulfill the law of Christ. So I think the key to that is like restoring the spirit of gentleness. Which is that's how Christ, that's how he restored people. He didn't like go and bash me, anything like that.
Can I interject right there? But he did. He didn't to the people that were unsaved,
Okay.
but to his disciples.
Okay.
He demanded more of them than he did the rest of the world. So I think as a fellow believer, it's our responsibility to go gentle at first. They're not, and they don't accept you. You're like, hold up, bro, man, you say you love Christ, but your walk and your attitude is contrary to what you say you believe. I mean, sometimes, and that's the reason why I think this tries to push people away sometimes. Because he wanted them to count the cost and understand, hey, this thing isn't about, what you can do today. And that's why he says you have to die to yourself daily. But when it came to believers, he was very sensitive to them. When it came to believers, when it came to the one that was in his core group, he held them to a higher accountability. And I think that's part of the problem with us as churches today. We're so terrified of holding our brothers. I'm not talking about unbelievers. I'm talking about brothers. We're so terrified to hold them to a higher accountability. We're afraid of what they may think about us, or they may not receive that in love. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like that's more the issue than the person. Like you said, like the issues that we're afraid to do it. The issue is if I'm trying to come to you in a way that I'm not trying to bash you, I'm doing it out of love, I'm trying to help you, restore you. And I think most times people think that as, oh, this person thinks they're better. They're judging me. It's like, I think that's where we're going with this. I'm the receiving end. I feel like that's more the issue because people feel like it's a personal attack instead of you just trying to, motivate them to Christ. And so I feel like,
which is the way our society is right now. We're too busy trying to be politically correct than to be biblically correct. Because, this, that, and then. Because here's the thing. In Proverbs 27:17, iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Iron against iron is not sensitive. You know what I'm saying? For iron to sharpen iron, that means there's got to be contact. That means there's got to be hidden. That means that whatever bends, friction. There's got to be whatever bends, whatever whelps, whatever chips are in there. In order to get down to that, there has to be some type of force.
There's absolutely nothing. If you're following Jesus, like following, there's nothing comfortable about it. There's absolutely nothing comfortable about it. You're going to have some conversations you don't want to have. You're going to have to make some changes that's to deny yourself you might not want to make. But like you said, when he told, it's almost to, like when Chan always talks about, it's almost as though Jesus was like telling people like, no, you really don't want to follow. And it was like to count the cost really. And I think a lot of what we're talking about, honestly, it's a result of the church. As we know, the church. If you ask most people what they think church is, it does not match what it is in this book. It doesn't match it. A lot of people, love has just been most abused word in the English language. It's just, their word is just abused. And the Bible talks so much about false teachers, about false doctrine, and he does that for a reason. If somebody's always telling you like what you want to hear, man, it's your life, do what you want to do, man, you got time to get it. That message is not coming from above. I can assure you that. But the message, like sometimes we go and talk to somebody that, like you said, if there's a young believer, it may not be a comfortable conversation. It may not be what you want to hear, but it's like, man, it's exactly what you need to hear.
Well, and that's what, the Andy Mineo song brings. That's what he's talking about. If I'm not doing right and you don't tell me, you're not my friend. You really, at the end of the day, if I allow my kids to go contrary to what I try to teach them my entire life, and I'm okay with that, then I don't love my kids. All I'm concerned about is them liking me. You know what I'm saying? So, to me, that's the thing that's missing in our society today. Again, we're so terrified of offending somebody that, and yes, God is a God of love, but guess what? There's going to be a day where he's a God of judgment. And when that day, he's already said it's going to happen. So, that's what, to me, just like you're saying. So if my mind is right, and I've prayed about this, and I've asked God, give me what to say to this person. And God gives me what to say, and I say it. And they choose not to receive it. It's no longer on me. That's the reason why I told him, he said, hey, at the end of if that city don't want to accept it, when you get to that edge of the city, pull off your sandals, dust up, and keep right on moving. Because you did what I called you to do.
no, I just had.
Can I roll way back? Sorry. Y'all been
over all the way to a whole nother.
I still ain't got some money. They go to-
Not me either, but so that's why I had to write down. I forget. Way back to here and talking about the following the 100-mile path, you know, doing the same thing over and over. And instead of them focusing on the route that they're on, I mean, actually focusing on the route, they're fixed on that GPS, doing right in 200 feet, turn left. They're looking in the car instead of seeing what's around them. And to stay on the path, which is the same route, you know, they're doing this thing over and over. It's like when you go somewhere and you go the same way every time, you're gonna remember some things, right? Like, and some things you focus on the fixed landmarks. Okay, you're gonna go down 2 blocks and turn at the red house, you know, and they drove, you know, 4 or 5 more miles and they're gonna turn at the barn. And that's how you remember, you know, giving directions way back when we didn't have cell phones. And it was like, go down 2 blocks, turn at the mill. And, you know, that was how we gave directions to get to places. And we're like, we didn't have any street addresses. So it was just, you know, but it's like the things that you focus on and actually physically to what is going on around you. So they would know to, okay, I'm getting ready to turn up. My turn is coming up. So I'm gonna turn here. And instead of listening to, you know, whatever she's saying, because Google and Siri and all of them, they mess up a lot. But, you know, staying and fixing, you said something about, you know, the word doesn't change. So those landmarks, like the word, is not gonna change. And at this point in my life, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to turn right. I'm supposed to run from whatever this issue is that keeps tempting me to go off the path. And so those are the things that, you know, that the word does for us and helps us to stay on the path. It, like I say, it doesn't change. So if we are repetitious and we stay in it and stay with it, you know, it tells us meditate on it day and night. So there's no time when we shouldn't be using what's in this book to guide us out there. So it's like not going by what I think or what I want to do, but Lord, you know, because if you're praying always and praying about everything and not worrying about anything, you know, it's like, okay, Lord, what's going to happen next? What do we do? What do I do now? You know, I'm waiting for that. And sometimes before we even finish praying, you know, the phone rings, the door, there's a knock, you know, the answer is already in route. If we just do what we're supposed to do. And that was the point I had on the path thing. So that's wherever y'all are now. I might have to comment on that too.
It's something she said, it's like, and it's something for everybody to ponder, but especially you young folks, and I'm telling you, out of love and sincerity, when you're on social media or using any type of technology, like she talked about the path, that role of technology, like where is it that voice? It was like Google Maps, whatever. Like, where's that voice leading? You know what I'm saying? That voice is just like you leading. It's like man, I can't even get Jesus in the rearview mirror no more. You know what I'm saying? It's like, or is it like that voice? Because you can use it for regular, you can use it for positive things. You can absolutely, you can absolutely can. You know what I'm saying? Or when you're using it, it's like, man, he's right there. He's right in front of you. You follow us like, okay, he's taking a left, I'm taking a left. You take it right, I'm right. But if it's the other one, you know what I'm saying? And I can, a lot of stuff out there is not designed to draw you to Christ, to draw you in a closer relationship with Him. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, I'll stop right
Wide is the broad way, and wide, many going that way. So, whatever is the rage and all the fad, you kind of, you know, there's the red flag. Go the other way. Be the salmon swimming upstream or whatever.
It's like by me or love by one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Jesus does. I'm gonna love you, but it's like, I think so many people, the mindset is like, it makes you feel like, oh, I got this person gave me attention, or I got this many followers, or whatever. It's like, look, when you think about the creator of the world, he's like, man, I want to talk to you every day. I want to show you what I got planned for your life on a daily basis, but you won't even talk to me. You won't even listen to what I'm trying to get you. They're trying to get you to go. So, you know, because at the end of the day, like you said, it's like, you know, when everything, at the end of this dash, and you got your birthday and the day that you got that dash, when that second day drops, it's like everything that happened between. It's like that's when you talk about what people remember you for, what you did, decisions you made, and all that stuff. And I just think we live in, I'm sure people have taught this and preached this to people, but man, I'm telling y'all, we live in a time where it's like it's no more. Not that there was ever a time to be like, okay, I'm trying to do this, and I'm trying to do that. You know, everything get a little bit closer to his return. I mean, you just look at the news every once in a while. Look at it. Just listen to people. You know, I mean, like he said, things. The mentality of the world has crept, invaded the church so much. And so, like I said, people are scared to even say. You know, people are scared to preach the word in the church. In the church, you're scared to preach the gospel. You're scared to talk about homosexuality. You're scared to talk about any kind of sin in the church. You know? And like I said, these guys weren't afraid to preach about anything. Like, Jones, we still gonna preach. Lock me up. I'm still gonna preach. You know? And we're so far away from that. We're so far away from that. But that does not mean that we can't be that church today, though. It does not. Regardless, like he said, nothing in this word has changed. You know, the same power that believers walk with is like the power is Christ. So same power. You know.
Yeah, that's what makes me. I said, I put on my own. It will take something stronger than myself. God has to be the center, the focus, the desire, the one who motivates me, the one who encourages me, the one that strengthens me, the one that guides me, and the one that directs me. I cannot make it without his provision or his presence in my life. Seeking his direction and guidance, seeking God above everybody else and what anybody else might think about me. Only through him can I stay on the narrow path. Through him can I get through life. Only with him will I have life, and only with him will I see an eternal life. And I thought about the Psalms 119. The word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. I mean, so apart from his word, you won't be able to do it. I mean, I don't care. I mean, to me, it's no different than if you want to learn about something. I mean, you know, now you can Google it. Back when we were growing up, you didn't Google it. You had to read it. I mean, right now, 1-817-283-4685. That's the same phone number my parents have had my entire life that I can remember and go back on. Now, ask me to call my son. The only reason I know his number is because it's the same as mine. But you see what I'm saying? I mean, even as an adult, I mean, well, I just say that because, I mean, I know your number, but I only know it because it's one number off from mine. But I don't know Shelby's number by heart. So, I mean, we've become a society that we're so weak in the mind because everything is done for us that there's no longer the effort to try to strive or to be anything different. And that's why it's so difficult for us to stay on any kind of path because everything's easy. I mean, you know, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, you know, if you want something, I mean, a microwave, I mean, everything is just simple. I mean, it's so simplified that we've lost what it means to work for anything. You know what I mean? In order for us to grow, I mean, just like I said, Jesus wasn't chill on his disciples. I mean, he chewed. I mean, man, how much longer I got to be with you dudes? Man, I'm right here with you, and y'all still don't have that faith. I mean, I'm trying to get some rest down at the bottom of the boat. Y'all waking me up for some nonsense. Did y'all forget who I was? You know, I mean, earlier you claim I'm the Christ. Now all of a sudden I don't have any power. You know, so I mean, but that's the way we are as a society. I mean, we want everything handed to us. We don't want to have to work for anything. So when God says no, sometimes we think that that's God abandoning us. When he gets to see what we don't see. I mean, on that path, he knows that if he takes you down this path, then, I mean, there's a line at the end of that path that you haven't been prepared to fight yet. But if I take you down this one, there's a fox that you're going to have to take on that's going to prepare you for that lion, so that when the time comes, you're able to take on that lion. And so, I mean, that's the reason why, to me, any temptation that's not uncommon unto man, everybody's gone through something. So if we never get around about sharing our testimony, just like you talked about before, how's anybody else going to know to get through it unless I'm willing to share that I'm vulnerable? You know, I mean, I'm not afraid, I'm not ashamed, I'm not scared to tell anybody. I struggle with pornography, but guess what? I have defeated it through the blood of Jesus Christ. And so, I mean, that is a decision to either I can be like everybody else and be part of the 364 million people that are looking at a porn site right now, or I can take the narrow path and go, man, Jesus, you're stronger than this addiction that I have over here. And so I want to take this path, and I'm only going to be able to do it by your word and by your presence, because I can't do it on my own.
I was thinking about something earlier. It's kind of like, maybe thinking about whenever you started talking earlier, just how like, we're so far away, like the church from where it's supposed to be, and it's like kind of related to sports in my head. It's like whenever you're down, like how do you respond? Are you gonna just give up and be like, oh, we're getting beat bad, it's just we don't just, you know, or are we gonna choose to fight back and choose to try and battle back and get back to it? Kind of like you were saying, like it's not gonna be easy, not gonna be comfortable, but like the situations you've been through, the testimony you have, all that is preparation for something greater. And be like, you know, get further along. You're talking about like hard work, and
What's this?
no, it just made me think like you're talking about like how like being like you have to have those uncomfortable conversations, those things that may not make you, you know, emotionally feel the best, but internally it's the best thing. I kind of thought about like I'm just keeping the sports thing like. He's hard on his guy. I mean, he's hard on him, and he's not always patting him on the back and giving him hugs, but it's like he gets the most out of his guys, and he's hard on them because he loves them. You know, they're able to perform at a higher level and get the most out of them and be successful. I think it's spiritually like Jesus is not going to make everything easy for us. Like there are things we're going to have to work for. They're going to be hard in life, but you know, the guys that can't respond, they don't play for him, they don't go. So it's like either, you know what I'm saying, you can accept it and understand that's love and then keep moving forward and be successful, or you just move out the way. And kind of like something you kind of touched on, but I thought about it. Like, people nowadays would rather be liked than loved. They'd rather like than love others. And it's like, at the end of the day, which one really means more? Like, it's cool for people to like you, but the impact is whenever you're showing love to people, which is not, like you said, it's been watered down, but showing love to people, true love, and receiving it from other people as well.
Well, and in the end, after the work is done, and how much greater does it feel? I mean, you know, coming back from 4 touchdowns, coming back from 20 points down. I mean, you hit the game-winning shot. You know, it didn't matter who hit the game shot. The entire team rejoices when the shots hit. So, I mean, just like you're talking about, when you see somebody get that breakthrough, when you see somebody experience God on a new level, it's not like, man, I'm jealous because you got it. Man, I'm excited for that person. I'm enthusiastic. When I used to love, when I used to see people get caught up in the spirit, you know, people like, man, I mean, to me, sometimes some of the people that get caught up in the spirit are the ones that have sinned the most or have gone through the most and feel as though they don't deserve to be forgiven. You know, and so, I mean, and that's to me, I mean, just like you said, I mean, right now our society is in such a desperate need of a hero that they don't understand. The only hero they need is Jesus Christ. I mean, we got movie after heroes. We got, you know, different people within our cultures. We're looking for politicians. We're looking everywhere except where we need to look. You know why? Because the church no longer has the power that it should. We don't offer the hope that lies within us because we're terrified. I don't know the Bible, man. I'm not going to say nothing because he's going to from me. I'm not going to know what to say. Well, it's not up to you to do that. That's where you rely on the Holy Spirit, because if you have the Holy Spirit reside in you, he'll give you the words to say. I mean, he'll give you the words of life. He'll give you the things necessary. But again, that means take a narrow road. That's a hard road. I mean, because sometimes taking the narrow road means you may kind of, because I don't know anybody else, but I mean, we used to grow up and there used to be trails. I mean, you used to take a path. Well, if you kind of went off the path a little bit, you may see a little mark, but you're kind of like, okay, I'm a little lost, but you keep moving forward. That's, you know, I like what you talked about that. Hey, I'm looking forward. I'm not looking behind me. I'm not worried about what's behind me. I'm moving forward. Something's got to be ahead of me. And that it goes back to once you clear woods and you make it, you're like, yes. you know, and then so I mean, and so now it's time to clear another path for somebody else. I mean, you know, I mean, sometimes it just takes one.
You said, back to Josh's story, it's the same path though. So once you've gone through it and you get to the end, it's like full circle. You get somebody else and we go through that same path again. That's where we're bringing another, you know, someone else, bring a new believer through the path. Yes, there's going to be some more obstacles, but they won't be as hard this time. Because I already went through this, and I know that the Lord can get me through that and the next thing. And once you get the path will be small. It gets a little bit bigger each time, but you know, still it's narrow for a reason because people don't want the hard way. You know, they want to go the wide paved one that's easy to walk on and don't hurt your feet. But you know, we gotta do a little struggling, and that's what's building us up. That the faith muscle. We're able to fight because, like I say, the battle is not it's up here. You know, it's spirit. You can get through those, you know, those hurdles and obstacles. Knowing, you know, this is, you know, giving us the strength to do because we can't do nothing by ourselves. And knowing that He's going to get us through all that. So, you know, around, here we go again, that path, we grab another, you know, everybody else and try to bring them with you. And so that's what we do.
But the path does still stay narrow because
It
you're following the
narrow,
person that,
but
you know what I'm saying? You're not going to get in front of them. You're going to follow behind them. So the path still stays narrow. And then so, and I think about it, you were talking about landmark. So that's the tree of alcoholism. You know, I've already been through that path. So this is how you get through this path. You know, and so I mean, that's what I'm saying. So I think about the landmarks, the different things that you go through. And so, but you're following behind me. Because I'm leading the way because I've already been through this.
You have to be transparent, like you were saying.
Yes.
You have to be open up because if I don't know.
You have to be transparent to see through so you can see the path too.
Yeah, but also like whenever you're guiding someone, like you gotta let them know I've been through this before.
Yes.
If we're going to the middle of the woods and you've never been there, I'm not gonna follow you.
No.
But if you tell me, no, listen, trust me, I've been through before, I've been through this, I've been through what we're going through, then it makes me feel a little bit more comfortable and like, okay, I'm gonna go through this with this person who's experienced it.
Well, and then you think about the landmarks. So you tell them, hey man, I'm gonna tell you right now, a little bit further up, there's gonna be a rock over here to the right. So when you get there and you see the rock, they go like, okay, this guy knows where he's going. And then you turn around, you know, the only reason I knew that rock was there because, man, if you only knew what that rock means to me.
It's like scripture. I keep learning about, but if you keep reading, oh wait, I know what that is now. You know, how many times have you read it until you finally remember, oh, I don't even look, I just go like this, and there it is, you know. And so each time that landmark is one more thing for you to remember, you know, it's the repetition. And we just like keep.
Yeah. You say something?
I think just like one thing, like a landmark in the struggle, and this is how to get over it. All right, okay.
Well, it's what you identify with on that path.
Okay, yeah, like with the
You
other
know what I'm saying?
individual.
The only reason I got through that path to begin with was the light that was before me, who was Jesus Christ.
Okay, yeah.
So this is how I got through this. Just like this. So with that, you know, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. You know, well, at some time that may not mean nothing to you at where you are in life. But if you're going through something and the Lord gives you that scripture on this path, well, that scripture just took a whole new meaning on for you. And so now if I can turn around and share that scripture, we say, hey, this is at this point where I was struggling the most, this is the landmark that God gave me for me to make it through. I mean, literally, I'm not lying to you. The other morning when I woke up, first thing that hit my heart is God, when I said, you know, I even asked you, I said, what's my resolution going to be this year? And God said, what you're worried about a resolution. I'm talking about a relationship. What relationship are you going to do with me this year? Quit worrying about a resolution. Resolutions come and go, Nate, but my relationship with you is eternal. And I mean, it hit me like a ton of bricks. And he said, not just that, but your relationship with everybody you come in contact with. If you're not about relationships, then why are you worried about a resolution? 2019 has got to be about relationships in your life. And so, I mean, in that, so for me, for my small trail in 2019, it's relationships. That doesn't mean that's your trail. But I mean, when I get through that and I go through that, then I may be able to share that with you. This is what God did to me when he put my heart. So then here, now who knows? He may tell you something one day. You may be like, hey, Debo, man, I know, Lord put this on my heart, man. I mean, what'd you do? And I'm like, oh, dude. I mean, I shared the same thing with my dad. I struggled with depression. And I told my dad about it, and I never knew my dad. And it just opened up a whole new relationship with my father. Because, going back to what you said, my dad was what? He was transparent. He let me know, man, that passed, but we got through it. So now I got another brother. No, he's not dad. I mean, yes, he's my earthly father, but that's my brother in Christ. So, I mean, it's that iron sharpens iron. He didn't tell me, you know, you need to suck it up. No, he was able to tell me through his own testimony about how he got through it with Jesus Christ. And so, and that's the landmarks. I mean, and all of us, if we're not putting, I mean, I think about Hansel and Gretel, and they laid down the bread or whatever. If we're not leaving trails for others to follow behind, what are we doing this for? I mean, I don't want Deontay to be like me. I want Deontay to be better than me. So I'm trying to leave some bread trails for him to grab a hold of, you know. I mean, and I'm trying to, just like Greg said, if I love my son, I'm going to share with him the things that I struggle with and went through and let him know, hey, you know what this leads to? Man, heart pain, bro. I mean, and I'm able to share. Not because I want him to be like me. I mean, you know, everybody says we look alike, but that's the extent of it. I don't want my son to be like me. I want my son to be better than me. I mean, I pray every single day that my children know God better than I ever have at the age that they are. And if that's not my dash, then why do I even want to live? I mean, why would I want my children to be more successful with Christ than I ever was? Because I know in this day and age, but if I'm gone, man, y'all have no clue what's in store for y'all. I'm telling you, you think it's bad now. I mean, I'm telling you, just 20 years ago, all the stuff that's going on in our society wasn't there. Now, I mean, it's unbelievable how much that we've got to prove ourselves to whatever, when all we have to do is live for Christ. I mean, because at the end of the day, guess what? Tomorrow, your dash may end tonight. That's the thing that I don't think people understand. I mean, yes, it is prime for Jesus to come back today. He may not come back for another 1,000 years, but tonight somebody's dash is going to end. And if we're not serious about this thing, there's going to be a lot of people that we're going to have a huge impact on. And I can't help but think about this all the time. When I get to heaven, and I know it may not be like this, but if somebody looks at me and says, man, did you hate me so much you didn't want to share this with me? Then my dash means nothing. If my dash doesn't represent Jesus Christ at the end of the day, then what was the purpose of the dash? I mean, I think about the dash. The dash, there's a line that goes right here. It's the part of the cross, whether we realize it or not. I mean, and so that's what we got to do. We got to do our dash is that every day is our last day. We're 2 days into the new year, and guess what? Somebody's not going to see 2020 already. Somebody didn't get to see 2019. And they were alive on the 31st. I mean, it happens like that. So I'm telling y'all, man, there's too many what ifs for you to take a chance. And if I'm wrong, guess what? We all just die. But if I'm right, oh, I know I am. But I'm saying, if I'm right, it means that you have to answer to somebody at the end of your dash.
That's kind of what I alluded to earlier. I don't know if people understand how real it is, like how real heaven is, but how real hell is too. And you know, going back to what Josh said about the word not change, God does not change his position based upon it being 2019. If he changed his position based upon it being 2019, that would mean that everybody back down through the years, they were held to a different standard. He's a just God. He's not going to do that. You know, he laid it one time for everybody. You know, and one of the crazy, and she said that this is somebody like they grew up in church and been in church a lot and brought up homosexuality and abortion, and was adamant that wasn't a sin anymore. And had no clue about like what the Bible said about God not changing His word. You know, it's just the stuff that people believe. People more easily jump on a lie or a fantasy than the truth. You know, the truth. I believe with all my heart. Not a lot of people even want to hear, because once you hear that truth, now I'm accountable for it. Now I'm responsible. Like if I'm just driving, if you drive down the road, it had there's not a speed limit sign posted at all. You're like, and you get pulled over, it's like, well, you know how fast you're going. Like, I don't know, there ain't no speed limit. It's just, you know, drive what you want to do. But if you drive and you run under 90 miles an hour and you pull you over, it's like you knew. So you whatever comes after that, you're responsible for it. If it's a day in jail or a $40 ticket, you can't. Ignorance is no excuse. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, that truth is so when somebody shares a word of like wisdom, a knowledge with you, you know, I just encourage you, don't blow it off like, man, just another person trying to tell you my life. They don't know nothing about me, whatever. The message that person has for you made it come straight from God. So when you tell me, like, really, like, just felt like I need to text this person, like, whatever, like, and I can't tell how many times I'm like, man, of all days today, like, I really need to hear it today. Will to receive the spirit, you know what I'm saying? And but then there's times people like, you know, I'm just talking about like, man, you know, or people avoid you, but they know like, oh, they can miss the truth. They gotta go over here. I don't wanna, you know. So just, man, embrace truth, embrace anything that comes from God. Make sure it's from God. Make sure every time, because every good message you get, or good, like, everything you receive that makes you like feel good does not necessarily mean that that's from God. And everything that you receive, you're like, man, I ain't even want to hear all that. Kind of like I said earlier, that may be what you needed the most.
Guess we'll pick back up next week. And that's where we left off there on 3. So